Hello, how are you? So I am back in London and I am here for the A Wrinkle in Time premiere, and you've probably seen from my social media that yes, Oprah is in the house. Yay! She doesn't come to London very much, and generally when she does is to promote one of her films, and so this time it is A Wrinkle in Time, which is directed by Ava Duvernay. I'm here to support my friend Derek Rutledge, who is actually Oprah's makeup artist, and he is phenomenal. Some of the looks that he has created from the film and in the film are just amazing, absolutely amazing. So tonight I am actually going off to the premiere, so I'm so excited about that and to go and see the film for the first time. It's actually out in the US now, but it comes out in the UK on the 23rd of March. So I'm off to see the film. I've had my makeup done by Chanel in Selfridges. The lady there was very creative. I don't know if you can see, she was very creative with my eye makeup there, a little bit kind of Wrinkle in Time-ish. And I got on a Caramillan dress, which I'm absolutely loving. Look at the colors in this dress. Just incredible, so incredible. So it's like orange, blue and black, and it's got a little tie at the top, it's got frills here, and it's just such a gorgeous dress. Absolutely love it. So that's what I'm wearing. As you can see, where I am is slightly different to where I normally am. I'm just in an Airbnb just around the corner from where we used to live and even closer to Hyde Park than we were before. So super blessing there. It's a lovely little apartment just close to Hyde Park. So I'm just staying here for a few days whilst I come and support Derek, Oprah and A Wrinkle in Time. And here's Roxanne!
Me and Roxanne, we're off to see A Wrinkle in Time to the premiere extraordinaire.
Okay, well, welcome to our debate, The Power to Empower. We are live streaming on the Sunday Times Style website and also on the Female Lead website, Facebook, all the way through. How would you find that, if you're a young girl today, that leadership part of it?
One of the reasons I love this film so much is that when we filmed, Storm was 13 years old, now she's 14 years old, and that was really one of the most tumultuous, difficult, really terrible times in my life when I was trying to figure out who I was, and I was going through a lot of trauma. But what I now know for sure is that what Mrs. Witch says to Storm in the very beginning of the film, which you're about to see, is all, so pay attention. When she says to her, you have to find the right frequency and have faith in who you are. Just take that in for a second. Find the right frequency means that you carry your own frequency and vibration when you come to the planet. That is yours and yours alone. It belongs to you. And you only get in trouble when you're trying to be in someone else's frequency and somebody else's energy. So the power of this movie that initially looks like we're trying to teach her how to test her is about really how do you discover the best of yourself. Find the right frequency and have faith in who you are. There's a frequency that is yours and yours alone. And when you allow yourself to live in the stream of your frequency, not somebody else's, not worried about what other people's frequencies are doing, you then come to the planet and live the exalted life. that you were meant to live, that's designed specifically for you. So that's what I would say to anybody who's, and I wish I could have heard it. I wish I could have heard it. I wish I could have heard it when I was her age.
Thank you. Ava, one of the things you also talked about, and I think this has been mentioned in interviews before, is that this would be a Wizard of Oz for the future. This is the film that many, many young people will refer back to and look at how it's changed their life. Is that what you meant to do with the film?
Well, hi everyone. I'm so happy to see you all here. It's a good looking crowd. We asked Disney, can you make sure they're a good looking crowd? And good looking is not just the exterior, it's the interior. It's the light that shines from you, and that's what this film is about. And that's what we really wanted to say in the film. We wanted to give a slice of sweetness. There's a lot going on in the world, a lot of turmoil, a lot of darkness and division. But we want to tell kids, and this film was designed for real kids and kids at heart, that they can be a light. And so that's what we all have tried to do. I think that's why I was so attracted to each of these women as artists to be a part of the movie, because in their own lives they are dynamic, fully powered humans who are emitting light wherever they go. And so, and then we found the great storm Reid, and it completed the picture. And so this film is a love letter from all of us to young people. It's something that we really want to be in the world right now, and we hope people enjoy it.
Okay. One of the things that I'm encountering, it's a new buzzword around young women and pupils at school, is the word resilience, how to raise a resilient girl. I've been asked about it about 5 times now. So it struck me that this film is about it, but it's also, I'm going to talk to you, Reese, actually, because you have a teenage daughter. I've got my 2 teenage daughters here as well this evening. How do we raise resilient girls? Or how do we raise resilient children? Because you've been doing such amazing work with Time's Up, which has been very personal to you, and you've actually, that movement has been extraordinary because of the swift way you ignited that, but you've had to be very resilient around that.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Hi, y'all. Yeah, I think this movie really, first I read it when I was 11 years old, and it really stuck in my heart because it was this epic adventure that had a little girl at the center of it, and I never read anything like that before, and I read every book in the series. I thought it was so magical, and also, it's not just externally what this little girl Meg Murray is fighting internally. She's fighting self-doubt and insecurity, and has to not only travel through the universe to save her father, but she has to save herself. And we all, every woman I know has had to save herself. There's nobody coming riding in on a white horse, despite all the other.
You've got to do it.
No one's going to save you. And that's a big piece that I talk to my daughter about, and talk about resilience. You got to be tough to be a woman in this world. These women wake up every single day, work hard, bring home money, take care of their kids, and they don't get a lot of thanks. And but I think this film is a beautiful message about, like Ava said, we are bombarded with negativity every day, and every day.
And other role models that are not brilliant.
No, and it's overwhelming. But if you can find a little bit of hope and a little bit of happiness, and whatever it is inside of you that wakes you up in the morning, makes you smile, makes you dance, makes you love your friends. That's the stuff you got to go for. So that's what this movie's about, and I think moms are going to love to take their kids, and I think everybody's going to sort of alight to that idea that we all have a light inside of us, and you just have to let it shine.
And Storm Reid, you are 14. You are extraordinary. You are most of the screen time in this film. It is extraordinary, and you've obviously grown up acting. How do you find that inner resilience? As a teenage girl today?
Yes. Hi, everybody. How do I find my inner resilience? Well, first of all, I think resilience is being strong and not physically strong, but mentally and emotionally strong. And I feel like it's about having faith and persevering, and stuff is not going to go right in our lives. Stuff doesn't go right now as teenagers. We're just trying to figure out what we're trying to do, grow up, get through school, a whole bunch of stuff, do chores. But
Are they making you do chores, Steph?
yes, of course. Yes, ma'am.
Where are my daughters? She's doing chores.
No, but I think it's just like, just being strong and finding the light from within yourself, and just being okay with yourself to be strong and be strong for others. Because as women, we have to, or being a young woman, you have to be strong for others, and you have to be able to take a lot of pressure when you necessarily don't want that pressure. And I feel like it's living by faith, not sight. And sometimes things are not going right, and it doesn't look like things are going to go right. But as long as you have faith, then you'll be able to push through and be resilient.
And are these are women have been role models, I'm gathering, for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Ava, Miss Oprah, Miss Reese, and Miss Mindy are so amazing. And to be able to not only, well, as an actress, be able to share a screen with these three women is so incredible. But to be able to just learn from each and every one of them, and have them in my corner to pour into me, and just be able to have them as like friends and aunties is amazing.
Yeah. I'm a bit jealous. So when I was reading or doing the research on you, so you write, you're a comedian, you're an actress, you're a writer, you're a producer, you're an author, you write plays, you do so much. So that's an awful lot, and you've just had a baby, so that's a lot to take on. How do you find what gets you going in the morning? What makes you strong and resilient?
What makes me strong and resilient? Well, I just can't get over how, Storm Reid, if I can just say this, first of all, she calls me Miss Mindy, which when she first did, it took my breath away, because she's so well raised. Her mother, Robin, is here, and we've spent this entire time with her, and she is, as a new mother, I always look to the two of them, and Reese, as just, I do so many things, but the one thing that my own mother passed away, so I'm just looking to other people to see how do they raise daughters that I really like. And I look at Storm and your daughter Ava, and they're such great young women. And it's like, just through osmosis, I'm just hoping that I can steal whatever it is they're doing to make these young, poised, beautiful, and very polite young women. So I think that's great. That didn't answer your question. What was the question?
Where's your inner strength? How do you get that resilience? When you do so many different things?
I don't know about my inner strength. I mean, every day I look up and I feel, as many women out here feel, like we take on a lot. When you're ambitious, when you're an ambitious woman, which is not something that's necessarily cultivated by society, you try to do all these things, and I, even this morning, you think, like, my daughter's back in New York, and my inner strength comes from, one, was the example that people like my mother left for me. She passed away 5 years ago, but she burned so brightly. So I think about her. And then honestly, the gift of having worked with these women and seeing what they do, these are definitions of multi-hyphenates. They're doing what I'm doing, and they just have the resolve. I think Oprah gets a lot through her faith. And so do you, actually. And that's sort of renewed my interest in my faith, something that I've kind of ignored for a lot of my life.
You know, it's important that girls of color, understand that they have to cultivate something inside of themselves and be able to listen to themselves before you expect anyone to listen to you. And that's the same for anyone. But I also think that it's important that people who are not of color and not girls are allies for girls and people of color. There are a lot of men in the room. This movie's for you too. There's some guys in it, don't worry. But in this film, our colleagues Chris Pine and Zach Galifianakis, Levi Miller, Derek McCabe, Michael Pena, Andre Holland, all came together to tell this story with us. I think it's an example of men and boys also having a responsibility to what's going on in the worlds of women and girls, because they're so interlocked. We're all human beings, and we really need to have a give and take. So men and boys are a part of the story, and they're a big part of the story, because so much of the burden that we carry as women and as girls can be lightened and alleviated if we had great male allies. Any good male allies out there? Anybody? Anybody? You're not right there. Just like that, I see you in that white shirt. Yes, sir. Good for you with your kid.
I've always felt the strength of my my spirit, my essence, because I knew that I didn't get here by myself. I was carried by a lot of other women and also a lot of other men who came before me. And I think knowing that strength and that power for yourself is the most important thing. And I will have to say, I have been underestimated my entire life. And it's the greatest thrill. I got to be a wealthy woman. I was just saying this to somebody today. The reason why I got the deal and the contract that I did, because nobody expected me to hit the rates and the limit. So they said, oh sure, we'll give you half. We'll give you half of the show. We'll give you half of the money, because they never expected me to reach the limit. So in every situation I've ever been in, I've been underestimated, and it's a thrill. It is a thrill, because I know inside myself, when I first made the decision to go from being just a talent on the show versus someone who owned the show, they said, you have to take the risk that if you win, you win big. If you lose, you lose everything. But I believed enough in myself. I believed in that power, because I knew that what Maya Angelou says in her poem to our grandmothers, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. I know that there's an army behind me, and that my being here, the message that you'll see me give to Meg in the movie, when Mrs. Witch says, do you know how many millions of events had to occur in order for you to be exactly the way you are? So you and I, we've been coming for a long time, and there's a lot of strength and power behind that. And the difference between my success and a lot of other people I see is I recognize I didn't get here by myself, and so I stand in that power. Mighty be our power.
I think Oprah maybe to start.
I believe in working from the inside out. I believe that everything that this movie says and stands for, and all of the reason why Ava is such a brilliant visionary director, she cast me as Mrs. Witch. And everything that Mrs. Witch says is what I already believe. As I'm reading the script, I say, oh, this is what I've said. I've said this before. I know. Mrs. Witch and I, we share the same religion. We share the same philosophy. I believe it's working from the inside out. I think your only job on earth is to work on you, is to find your frequency, and to allow what you have to offer. See, love, as you will see in this film, love is the victory. You do not meet the darkness. You do not meet all the craziness. And even today, as I hear myself say, oh, it's such, times are difficult and it's such a critical time. What if we all changed the paradigm and said, look at the rising. Look at what's rising up out of this craziness. Look at the people who are running for office, who are standing up, who are becoming writers, who are becoming victors in their own life, who are looking for the light inside. What if we just shifted it from, oh, it's so bad, it's so terrible, it's so awful, it's so that, to look at what is coming out of this. And if you work on that light inside yourself, which is the only job you have on earth, is to figure out what that is and what you have to offer, and then offer that in love and grace and kindness.
These women all came together, including our queen, Storm Reid, to tell this story. This story was designed for young people. We studied what young people have said that they want to see. Young people are thinkers. Young people are brilliant. Young people have hope and possibility. And young people, we just want to remind you to turn your light on. You can keep it off when you wake up in the morning, or you can decide to turn it on. And so that's what happens with Meg. At the beginning of the film, first 15, 20 minutes of the film, her light is shut off. It's dark in there. And little by little, you see her turning up her light until the very end. So we're proud of the movie. It's for young people. Let me ask who's in the audience. Anyone 7 years old in the audience? If you're 7 years old, raise your hand. 7 years old. Any 6-year-olds? I see a couple 6s. 8-year-olds. Raise your hand if you're 8. I see some all the way in the back, some 8s. Who's been on the earth for 9 years? You've been on the earth for 9 years in the corner. Hey, 9 years. Who's been here a full decade? It's 10 years old. It's a serious thing. 10. All over here. 10 years old. Who is 11? 1, 1. 11 years old. Yeah. She stood up. She's proud to be 11. 12. 12. Okay, this is the time. This is when I met Storm Reid. She was 13. Any 13? 14s. 14s? Any 14s? 14s over there. Yes. And we're going to say 15s and 16s together. The 15s and 16s together because, you know, they're cool. They're the cool kids. They're 15 and 16. If you are ages 6 to 16, stand up. Stand up and show your light. This film is for you.
Ladies and gents, please bear with us as our guests depart the stage. The movie will commence very shortly. This is just a final reminder to put your phones away. Sit back, relax, wave at Oprah, and enjoy.